The Strongman season is moving on rapidly. It's been a busy year, but still we have more to come, and Giants Live have announced the events for the World Tour Finals. So what do we have coming up next weekend, Auntie Liz?
There's actually 4 competitions happening next weekend. So we've got America's Strongest Man and Woman at the Olympia. Now there are changes this year because it's a Strongman Corporation competition, which has now been taken over by Lynn and James. Lynn is obviously official Strongman. So now we get to watch it on live stream on official Strongman. How nice.
It's really good. And this year, the winner of America's Strongest Man is going to get a Giants Live invite.
Yes.
So that is exciting news.
So Lucas Hatton will be defending his title there. He is returning this year. One really interesting addition, Dimitar Sabatinov.
I'm happy to see Dimitar.
Yeah,
Obviously, you know, recently when the Deadlift World Championships were happening, people were saying, why has Dimitar not been invited? The real answer, he's not been competing. You know, he hasn't. However, he's entering this competition. The winner of this competition will be invited to a Giants Live.
Yeah.
He, you know, even a good performance here is going to put him on the radar, particularly with it being on official Strongman.
Yes.
Great opportunity for someone like Dimitar to prove he is still good enough. He's an absolute beast in his prime. Be interesting to see how he gets on with these events.
Yeah, and there's like some other familiar faces. We've got Kevin Ferris competing there. Some good upcomers like Tim Buck and Andrew Burton, who is one of yours.
He is indeed. He's got a busy end to the year as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to following along and seeing how America's turns out. Very quickly, I'll just go through the events. They have a log lift for reps with a trump log, so it's either 136 kilos or 163.
Okay.
So I'm sure for most of these guys, they're going to be looking at the heavier log there. 1,000-pound super yoke, 193 kilo shield,
Ooh.
deadlift ladder, sandbag toss, and finishing with Atlas stones.
Now, I'm looking on the Strongman archives. I don't know if I'm looking in the wrong place for the lineup for the ladies. So far, there's only 4 listed.
There may be a few more that have entered, but yeah, the list for the American Strongest Woman competition is a little bit smaller, and I have a theory behind this. I think a lot of the top females, especially American females, will be looking to do
OSG.
Rogue and OSG.
Rogue, of course, yeah.
The problem with America's, for the women's side of things, they don't have the same incentive as the men do as getting that qualified to a Giants Live. So with other big competitions coming up for the women, I think some of the athletes decided to skip this and focus on things like Rogue, or focus on things like OSG.
That makes sense.
So as well as America's Strongest Man, next weekend we have Champions League Cyprus. Now, as it stands, I don't know any of the athletes competing or the events for this competition. However, the Champions League put on a whole host of competitions throughout the year. They are building towards their finals, which is their biggest competition of the year. So this is one more opportunity for athletes to get themselves into the Champions League finals.
Is Evans Nana still leading?
He is still leading at the moment, but Evans is right now focusing on the World Tour finals, so he won't be in Cyprus.
Oh, okay. And finally, also next weekend, we have the Arnold's Europe. So the winner of this competition, it's an amateur open competition. That is the last qualifying spot to the Magnus Ver Magnusson Classic this year.
And I've got to say, Magnus has done a great job giving new athletes an opportunity. There's been a lot of qualifiers for this competition. I think he's been in Canada, he's been down in New Zealand, he's got this competition going on, all giving new athletes an opportunity to come to the Magnus Ver Magnusson Classic and compete against some of the best.
Do you know what we need now? We need the Magnus Ver Magnusson Classic to be a qualifier for something else. That needs to be a natural stepping stone because we've got roots into that. That should also lead to something because he's getting better and better athletes every single year. I think it's only fair. It's a tough competition as well. So
it is a tough competition. 9 events at the Magnus Ver Magnusson
Someone
Classic.
listen. I don't know.
Plus dealing with the elements as well.
Exactly.
So a great opportunity for the winner of this show to get in and compete in the Magnus Ver Magnusson.
So in theme with the whole official Strongman thing, another competition you can watch, and that was from this weekend, is Ireland's Strongest Man. So that is an official qualifier for Britain's Strongest Man. It was once again won by Sean Gillen, who's going to be competing at Britain's next year. Two-time champion. And really oddly, again, just like last year, tied for points after the last event, and it went on the last event rule. So Rory O'Hagan tied with him. Now, Rory isn't Like, he's a under 105 athlete normally, and Matt McKeegan, who's also an under 105, plays third. No Power Dwyer.
No, Power decided not to compete this year, but Sean has now qualified himself for Britain's Strongest Man. Britain's Strongest Man is going to be interesting this year. Now we've had 3 qualifiers, so we've had the Welsh qualifier, Matt Diamond winning in Wales. The Scottish winner was Chris Beetham, and now Sean has won the Irish qualifier. So that's 3 athletes that will automatically qualify.
And the whole podium from England's strongest go on to Brits as well. I can't even remember. It was Kane, Paddy, and Andy Flynn. So lots of new names that are getting opportunities. Good to see. And then there'll be the big names as well that we're kind of used to seeing at Britain's. But it's going to be an interesting show, Britain's, and see who we end up getting to that later in the year or early next year, but we'll talk about that closer to the time. So the final Giants Live of the year, the World Tour Finals. This is one of my favourite Giants Lives to go to. The Glasgow fans, the Scottish fans in general, are absolutely insane. They always are fun to be around. I think they just love Strongman up there. They love Strongman, they love a drink, they're great.
They do. They really get behind
They're one
the
of
athletes.
the most animated crowds.
It's a show that I enjoy going up to every single year. Love to meet everyone up there, but just being there, being a part of the experience, the atmosphere, it's always great fun. So very quickly, the lineup for this show is meant to be Tom Stoltman, Luke Stoltman, Mitch Hooper, Trey Mitchell, Evan Singleton, Jaco Schoonwinkel at his first Giants Live. Looking forward to seeing how he does. Roman Grekov, the winner of OSG Europe's, looking like another top-level Ukrainian athlete. Look forward to seeing him. Evans Nana's competing at this. Wesley Dewinski, Spencer Remick, Pavlo Kordieka and Luke Richardson. Now, a couple of these names, I'll point out Tom Stoltman and Evan Singleton, picking up injuries in their last show. Not sure if they will be competing. However, as it stands, they are on the list, so I'm going to leave them on. But a new opportunity a new chance for some new athletes to really excel. Looking forward to seeing Jaco.
Well, yeah, because Jaco, of course, he qualified 2 years ago, was it?
Yes.
Through OSG. Had that terrible injury at Worlds last year, 2023. So this is actually his first Giants Live. First for Wesley also.
It is indeed. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one, this one. Luke Richardson looked really good at the World Open.
He did.
It'd be good to see him. Evans Nana dominating a lot of the Champions League. He's in his first Giants Live of this year. He did compete here last year.
Can Mitch Hooper take a full sweep of the 2024 Giants Live calendar out of the ones he's able to compete in? Obviously, he can't do Europe's and he can't do Britain's. It's ridiculous.
I think he can.
I think he can too.
He's looking phenomenal this year. However, Trey Mitchell has looked very good.
Yes.
And he will be competing as well. And we'll see what kind of shape Tom and Evan are in also. So it's going to be exciting. The events, though, this is always the deciding factor. Obviously, we can talk about our favourite athletes and who we think can do well, but they've got to be good at the events. And the events are the dumbbell medley this time. So we've seen dumbbell for reps. This time it's going to be a dumbbell medley. Now, the standard dumbbell for the dumbbell medley that they use at Giants Live, I think it goes up to 120 kilos.
Yeah, I think so.
4 dumbbells.
Yeah.
And
90, 100, 110, 120.
Yeah. Roman Grekov is going to be someone to look out for.
Current world record holder, isn't he?
I don't know if he's the world record holder, but I've seen him hit some huge dumbbells in training, and he'll be looking forward to that event for sure. We have a deadlift for reps. I'm guessing it's the axle deadlift for reps.
Yeah, it didn't. On the infographic, it did not say axle deadlift for reps. I have my fingers crossed for something different, something new.
It's not going to be.
No. You know me,
I'm going to guess.
Eternal optimist.
I'm going to guess the lighter axle for reps, which they used last year. I think they used last year.
The blobs.
The blobs. The globes.
Sorry, the blobs.
This one, very much down my street, is the farmers into the yoke.
Lovely. Would have been your favourite.
Would have been a good one, but I can see Mitch Hooper being very good at this. Also, Evans Nana. He's very good. Evan Singleton, if he's fit, very good at this type of event. We are going to see the Hercules hold for the first time this year. We haven't seen it. We've seen the Wrecking Ball hold in a number of competitions. Quite looking forward to seeing the Hercules hold back, and this is much more about grip.
Which do you prefer out of the two to watch and to do?
Personally, I prefer the Hercules hold. I really like that Giants Live try to put new events in there, and I think it's a good concept and good idea. However, I'm not such a huge fan of the wrecking ball because of the way it doesn't test what they wanted it to test. And it's a horrible event to train.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if you're programming for athletes, it's certainly not something you want them going to the limit on all the time because it's brutal. Even to watch, because the world record now is up at 2 minutes. I think for a minute and a half of that time, it's quite boring.
Yeah.
It's always good when it gets to that point when the athlete is just digging deep and the crowd react and you start seeing the facial kind of struggling emotions on their faces. But for a minute and a half when someone's just standing there, I find it a little bit boring. Even Hercules Hold, I'd like to see super heavy. I'd want to see like 30 seconds where it's a real heavy challenge. Probably because I was better at things like that than I am for long distance. I'm a powerful, explosive athlete. I'm not a marathon.
Not endurance man. The less said about that. No, I'm joking.
And then we are finishing with the Atlas stones.
Great finish for Tom if he is here.
Yes, if he can get to the stones, we know how good he is. We've seen the heavier set of stones at all the major Giants live shows this year, and we've seen that it's much more challenging. Last year we saw the 180 set in a lot of competitions and it was just a sprint. This year, you do all 5, it's an achievement. The last competition we saw, only 2 athletes managed to finish the set of stones. So yeah, I like seeing that heavier set at Giants Live. A little bit different set of events as well, good to see. And I'm excited to see how this one turns up. Like I said, Giants Live in Glasgow is always a lot of fun.
There are still some tickets available to the Glasgow show, so check out the link in the description below. Thank you for watching and we will catch you guys next time.